On paper, the job market now looks solid. Unemployment hit a 54-year low at 3.4% back in January of 2023, and U.S. employers added 2.7 million people to the payroll in 2023 alone. The January jobs report also showed the 2024 labor market was off to a solid start.
When we look at the hard data, it seems to suggest that the labor market has been fairly strong and in fact surprisingly resilient, especially after 2023 where we had headlines about layoffs and forecasts of recession. But when you look at the soft data, Americans tend to be a little bit less optimistic about how the economy is doing, and in particular about the job market.
Politicians just talking about how the economy is so great. I just want to scream from the rooftops. And how come no one can find a job?
Recently, unemployed full-time workers applied to an average of 30 jobs, only to receive an average of 4 callbacks or responses.
If you look at the job vacancies, they're down a little bit, but not down enormously. But if you ask, how hard are you working to fill them? The answer seems to be not very right now.
So why does it feel so hard to get a job right now? And is the U.S. labor market as strong as it seems?
Hi, my name's Jenna Jackson. I'm...
Before we go any further, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and to everyone, I need you to learn this right now, because old people, the start your bottom, work your way up thing doesn't work for everyone anymore. That era is over, sweethearts, grannies, people who were think that, start your bottom, work your way up. Not anymore. Thanks to W on that one for the Great Recession. Number 2, when people, and for you young people as well, anyone who says everyone is hiring, please shut the fuck up. Everyone is not hiring. If every company in this entire country was hiring, we would not be in this situation at all. So I want to tell this to everybody. Please get educated, because your privilege behind your job might be going away. By the way, I'm on Social Security, and I'm proud to be on Social Security. And I know I'm not cheating the system like you Trump public cunts, like a specific person, which I'd rather not say his name is. Given that specific person got his ass beat in a race twice, yet he calls me lazy and doesn't do shit. Looks like the lazy fuck beat the one that works too much. Don't ever underestimate someone who doesn't work, because that's the Balto effect right there, in the best way, shape, or form. Let's continue.
From Ardmore, Pennsylvania, in the suburbs of Philadelphia. This job market is like the craziest that I have ever seen. I was frustrated just with how my job search process has been going. I haven't quantified how many applications I've applied to. It would be a little depressing, I feel, at this point to quantify it. But it was definitely in the hundreds at least.
55% of unemployed adults said they were burnt out from searching for a new job. Younger generations were impacted the most, with 66% complaining of burnout stemming from job search.
Looking for a job can be a full-time job. There's a lot that goes into it. Filling out applications online can be tedious and can be time-consuming and can be really stressful.
Every day just feels like Groundhog Day. You're waking up doing the same thing.
When I looked at the data, if you just applied to a job through a job board, the odds of you getting hired were about 3%. So you got to apply to a lot of different jobs in order to have a chance to get them, and you're going to get lots and lots of just no responses. And it's exhausting if you do that.
A 2023 study from Glassdoor revealed that mentions of applicants being ghosted by their prospective employers grew substantially since before the COVID-19 pandemic.
We often...
Whoa, hold on a sec. Human resources, I want you to learn this. Don't lie to us anymore.
A study from Glassdoor revealed that mentions of applicants being ghosted by their prospective employers grew substantially since before the COVID-19 pandemic.
We often hear from job seekers.
So technically, I want you to hear that again one more time.
Glassdoor revealed that mentions of applicants being ghosted by their prospective employers grew substantially since before the COVID-19 pandemic.
We often hear from...
So I want you to know, to you human resources, as a former friend said, Human resources is the worst department in any department of any company in the entire country. She was not wrong. And she works in the human resources department. Not going to say her name either. With that being said, you employers say you're always hiring or you want people, but yet you don't want to call people. That just happened to me with a specific company not too long ago, and it wasn't the only one. So don't think it's just one company, you privileged little pussies. This ain't my first rodeo being unemployed this long, and it won't be my last. So if you think I haven't been trying to apply for jobs, shut your fucking mouth and keep learning, because you don't know shit on what's going on in America. Since you never had to suffer one time in your life, you never had to lose a job possibly, and you never had to ever think about finding another job. And by the way, you know what's uniquely normal, unfortunately? Having 3 jobs. And most of them, and almost every single one of these fuckfaces who do work, is like on the phone all the time. Hey, work, bitch, get off the phone. Get off the phone, bitch, get off the phone. Now you know why people don't get respected. And they ghost applicants. How? Sounds like women. Oh, you know what I'm right. Let's continue.
A study from Glassdoor revealed that mentions of applicants being ghosted by their prospective employers grew substantially since before the COVID-19 pandemic.
We often hear from job seekers that they send out tons and tons of applications and they don't even hear back, and that can be very emotionally and mentally taxing.
It's unprofessional as well. It's like, especially if
Thank you.
Take time to do an interview with them, you can at least let them know.
I think it's because of technology. It's easy to put up a job, and so many people can see that job. So when you get such an overwhelming response, it's often very difficult to get back to every single solitary candidate. Certainly during the Great Resignation, when the market was at a fever pitch, companies were being ghosted by candidates, which is something that hadn't happened as much in the past. So we've seen it happen on both sides of the fence, and I think a lot of it is caused by just sheer volume.
The time
And speaking of that as well, you people that say go apply to Indeed, you think I haven't fucking done that in the last 10 years? Or how many years? Stop with that stupidity of yours. Oh, you can work at McDonald's, you can work at this. I'm like, you're too picky. Shut the fuck up. You don't know where I've worked before. And I'm not going to tell you that information because that's none of your fucking business. When you people say go get a job, that's not how it works anymore. You need 3 fucking interviews for one specific job, which the one I did apply for, don't get me wrong. How would you need 3 fucking people to somehow get a job that an 18-year-old can do? Use the head you should use, not the head you can't even function with. We'll get to that in a minute, but we already know that story.
takes for a company to hire an employee also hit an all-time high, at an average of 44 days during the first quarter of 2023, with some industries like the energy and defense sector taking more than 67 days for hire.
The application process has been getting longer and longer, with going through multiple rounds and doing assessments. My worst experience so far was with a large financial institution where I had a phone screen with them, and I also had a Zoom interview with one of the team members. After that, I had a case study where I was given very vague instructions. They got back to me and said that the team didn't feel like there was enough, so they gave me another attempt. In the end, I just ended up just going back to the recruiter and saying, like, I'm sorry, I don't think this is the best fit. Because even if I did move forward and, they were okay with my revision, it still would have been 3 more interviews.
A lot of employers think that...
Just as I said earlier, 3 more interviews, a case study, and then somehow all this. That's even worse than what I've gotten in Von Maur one time about 2 years ago with 3 interviews, and they could even still hire me. Let alone a phone interview. How much more do you need to hire someone, 18-year-old? Human resources, wake the fuck up. Let's continue.
Move forward and, they were okay with my revision. There still would have been 3 more interviews.
A lot of employers think that doing more interviews is a good thing, and it's not a good thing. Most job interviews are not doing anything.
You hear that, Human Resources? Listen to these people, because you don't want to listen to me. Well, facts don't care about your feelings too, bitches. Human Resources, wake the fuck up. Your process sucks dick, and we now mean it.
A lot of employers...
And remember, it ain't an opinion if it's true. Don't be such a sinful, prideful, greedy-ass bitch. Because Human Resources, you are.
think that doing more interviews is a good thing. And it's not a good thing. Most job interviews are not doing anything important.
You never want to believe me. But I think you should now. Because I don't lie about shit. Time to learn it's not an opinion anymore. Privileged little pussies.
Think that doing more interviews is a good thing. And it's not a good thing. Most job interviews are not doing anything important. They don't know that the questions they're asking are going to reveal anything about whether you are a good candidate or not. Answer is, and know that the questions they're asking are going to reveal anything about whether you are a good candidate or not. They don't know when they ask the question what the right answer is. And this is a development that's been going on for a while. It's not a good thing for anybody. And even if the labor market was stronger, you would still be seeing some of this.
Thank you. Better kiss my ass when I'm fucking right. Because when I'm right, I show facts or proof like I said before.
Per year, but you'd like to.
Remember when I said, on countless occasions, everyone, I am not always right, but when I am, I show facts or proof. Get educated, my friends. I wasn't fucking lying. Now kiss my fucking ass and lick it. Let's continue.
While it's not a good thing for anybody, and even if the labor market was stronger, you would still be seeing some of this.
Better learn
There
that,
are
Human
generally
Resources.
two terms economists use to describe the state of the job market: tight and loose.
Usually when economists talk about a tight labor market, they mean hot, essentially. Mostly what that means is it is difficult for employers to find workers. And so in that context, employers tend to be more hesitant to lay off workers. They tend to try to be more aggressive about how they hire, whether that means offering bonuses or offering on-the-job training. By contrast, a loose labor market or cold labor market is one where there might be layoffs, it might be hiring freezes, it might be difficult to find a job for workers who are either already in the workforce or workers who are trying to.
And speaking of hiring, hold on a second. Speaking of hiring freezes, you'd be surprised how many places are doing that too. Mall places are doing that big time, but everyone wants to say everybody is hiring. Shut up. Again, everybody is not hiring. If all companies in the entire country were hiring, we would not be in this situation right now anyway. Let's continue.
Cold labor market is one trying to be more aggressive about how they hire, whether that means offering bonuses or offering on-the-job training. By contrast, a loose labor market or cold labor market is one where there might be layoffs, it might be hiring freezes, it might be difficult to find a job for workers who are either already in the workforce or workers who are trying to enter the workforce for the first time.
The American labor market has remained extremely tight following the end of the pandemic.
So many companies had to scale back during the pandemic, and then all at once, companies were able to hire again as their businesses started to move. So you had so many job openings happening all at the same time.
Job openings reached historic highs, while the country continued to struggle from a devastating labor shortage. With so many plentiful job prospects, even working Americans quit their jobs at a record pace for new jobs, in a trend that came to be known as the Great Resignation. But the job market is beginning to show signs of cooling.
There's less of a frenzy on the part of the employers. If you're somebody who wants a job, you would like a frenzy on the part of the employers because you would like to have lots of people trying to hire you.
I think one interesting thing about the job market right now is that it is strong, but the hiring rate is low, and similarly, the layoff rate is actually very low.
The layoff and discharge rate in the US has been hovering near historic lows, despite the barrage of layoffs reported specifically within the more visible tech and media sectors.
So I think what might be going on here is that employers are hesitant to lay off workers, they're hesitant to push workers out because of their recent experience with labor shortages. But on the flip side, that also means that a lot of workers are sitting tight, they're not quitting, they're not being laid off, and so there aren't as many of those opportunities you would normally expect from attrition for folks who are trying to break into those roles.
Meanwhile, research from LinkedIn found that job seekers' search intensity in the US grew by 27% in 2023 compared to the year before. In 2022, there was one open job for every active applicant on the LinkedIn platform. By 2023, the ratio turned to one job for every 2 active applicants.
Right now in the marketplace, what we're seeing is both employers and employees being a little bit more selective. Everybody's taking a little bit more of a measured approach right now, being a little bit more selective in their choices, and that's why we've seen a little bit of a cooling in the marketplace.
However, experts reassure that the cooling labor market is no reason for concern yet.
It is important to have a perspective that's a little more historical on this. You know, if you're hunting for a job right now and you can't find one, it looks like a lousy job market to you. But compared to your parents' experience, it's a great job market.
I think that sentiment is outcomes minus expectations. So in 2021, 2022, there were labor shortages, companies were hiring very aggressively, and so even if 2024 is shaping up to be a relatively healthy labor market, by recent comparison, it doesn't feel quite as strong.
A cool down in the labor market was also what the Federal Reserve had intended with its series of interest rate hikes.
If you are the Federal Reserve and you want to slow the economy down, that means you want to slow the markets down a bit. The biggest market is the labor market. You know, if you look at what employers do, where their budget is, it's mainly going to labor. So you can't easily cool the economy down unless you cool the labor market down.
Experts also noted that the health of the labor market will largely rely on where the economy is headed next.
If the economy does slow down more significantly in 2024, if we see a recession in 2024, the labor market can be somewhat resilient, but it can't fully buck the broader economic trends. And so that's definitely something we want to watch out for in 2024. It's not a guarantee that the job market is going to remain as strong. Broadly speaking, we might have some optimism about the economy. That doesn't necessarily mean that the job search is an easy process.
I guess the big thing I would say is it's not you. You know, it's not you. It's happening to thousands of other hundreds of thousands of people at the same time. And it has to do with what's going on in the bigger economy. It has to do with uncertainty. But it also has to do with a lot of quirkiness inside employers about how they handle hiring these days.
It's definitely difficult out there, but you know, I just encourage you not to give up and still keep diving into your network and stay tight with family and friends, just to give you, the emotional support that you might be lacking at the moment, and to give you that confidence that you can do it.
So I want to tell you, human resources people right now, please stop lying to us. Please stop saying to me, we wish you luck on your job search. We wish you the best of luck. 4 years unemployed. 4 years. You think I'm going to have any luck in 4 years? Why don't you stop hiring people with experience and longevity when your coworkers don't last 3 months, give or take? You tell me to apply on Indeed? I'm fucking 35 years old. I know what the fuck Indeed. I know when it was Career Builder or Career Link before it became Indeed. Why don't you learn how to use this head and not that one? Because the best qualified candidate isn't always the best qualified candidate, because they can last 3 months and then you're hiring again, but they don't want to look at me again. Why don't you learn that the best qualified candidate is not your best one ever? I'll tell you this right now, HR, for all places. I've never been late to a job ever in my life, and I'm 35 years old. You don't see that very often, do you, from a 35-plus-year-old? Number 2, give me a chance. I come dressed up every single time in an interview, similar to this, probably with a suit and sports coat, let alone have these shoes on, not sneakers. and yet somehow never cursed in an interview, always shake my hand. I'll get to that part in a minute. And also say thank you for your time and shake your hand again when I leave. Now here's the sad situation. There's some that will never call you, ghost you, intentionally try to ban you, and then tell you you're barred from employment. That is the typical crap people do too. That doesn't work. It's when you get it to yourself, I think you should be the one that shouldn't be hiring, because you have to have 3 people to hire and then a little more. How pathetic and how stupid can you be? And you're the one hired with making that much money, and yet the people that are trying to work their butts off don't want to hire them. Or, and another thing, you hire within, which is another situation. And then these for an 18-year-old job, that an 18-year-old person from high school. Oh, and another thing, women do get paid less than men in the same job, same position, same company. Now, if it's a different company, that's a whole different ballgame. I can understand that. Don't get me wrong on this, Republicans. That's true. Pretend it's Wells Fargo compared to Morgan Stanley. Not the same. You can't compare that. Now, if it's just Morgan Stanley or Wells Fargo, same company, same employees, different sexes, that is a fact. Women for every... Thanks to Professor Alvin Motley in the same college where I'm at right now, trying to do this. Thank you, Professor Alvin Motley. A woman makes, for every dollar a man makes, a woman makes 75 cents on the dollar. And if you're a single mother, you make 25 cents less on the dollar. So to everyone, there is a pay gap. As far as the same company, not 2 different companies, the same company, same position, male coworker of that position, woman coworker of that position. Not other companies, just that company, that position, same, So, and here's the problem. Here's another catch. Women are getting more hired than men. It's not because of what they look like or whatever, it's because of that. So if you want to hire a woman that pays less, they want to hire her because, but they sell too as well. But that's not because of what they're wearing, but because of the position in general, because most people want to see a woman, not a man. Which I could see why. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to put that against men or anyone, but this is the crap I've been saying for a long time. And to you, HR, you think the best qualified candidate is the best one? Sorry. I go in my interview, so back to the interview thing. There was one time a lot of these stupid triggered pussies, I shake their hand, and they don't want to shake their hand. I'll be honest. You learn this in high school. Old people, white people, young people, black people, red people, black people, blue people, trans people, straight people, gay people, whatever people. You're taught this in high school. You shake your hand. Nice to meet you, whatever. I've had people, this time, there are people don't want to shake hands. I'll be honest. If you don't shake hands, whether you're the interviewer or the interviewee, you're not going to get the job. And I'll be honest, for my position, I've experienced that. You don't shake my hand, I'm sorry. I'm getting out the door. And I'm not coming back. That's pussy material. You're taught that in high school, little boys and girls. Now, I want to ask you women this question. If you somehow shake your hand like this, I know my mother, as a woman herself, my own mother, never seen a person do, let's say, so this is my hand, this is the woman's hand, so let me make sure I do it correctly, okay. She did this, when I like, women, when I shake her hand, she comes up to me and does, is this a woman thing? Is this something you never seen either, women? Or do you know about it, women? Since my mother and many others, women that I know, has never seen a woman. When I do this, she does like a little half. Women, can I ask you a question? What are they trying to do? Even my mother, as old as she's about to retire, has never seen that ever in her life. So my question is to you women, why does a woman shake their hand like this when you're trying to shake their, yeah. Even a lot of women my age don't even know that. So can I ask you a question, women? What does that mean? Are they too chicken to pull out their own hand? Or do they not know how to shake their hand? or they're too chicken to touch someone else's hand, even without not touching them at all, and not shaking their hand, period. Can you answer that question for me? So for everybody, everyone's not hiring, your opinion's relevant to facts, and kiss my ass when I was right all along. Thank you, good day.